Only went to uni because my parents wanted me to go to uni. 6 months in, dropped out. 3 years and I've only hit 100k. My head. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist and all that sort of stuff, but I just feel like the way the world's going and everything like that, the people higher up don't want entrepreneurs.
Do you make enough money where you genuinely do not need a job at all?
No, alhamdulillah, I don't need a job.
How much do you make from YouTube?
100 grand a month.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the BlueTick show. Opposite me today, we've got a special guest. It is Raheem, aka my brother, aka Mr. CEO Cast. How are you?
I'm very good. I wouldn't say it's that special compared to your other guests.
To me, it's special, and I'm sure to all the viewers from your end, they've been looking forward to this one.
Why is it special for you?
Because as much as you're my brother, I know that I'm in control this time. And now I get to take control. As much as you've said to me, Mikey, ask me this question, ask me that question.
Listen, I don't know what kink you got going over here.
It's all in my hands now. But no, the reason why it is special was because about 2 years ago, we sat in the VIP room and you filmed me.
Almost 3 years ago.
Almost 3 years ago.
We done that in, I want to say, May 2020. Obviously, by the time it comes out, it probably will be May.
No. No. But you filmed me and you gave me a promise. Yeah. You said to me, because I said to you, why don't you ever get someone to interview you? And you said, you know what? When I hit 100k, I promise I'll let you interview me.
Yeah, that's what I promised to the rest of my audience as well.
And it's just a little bit of a coincidence. I got my own podcast now and you're on it.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm interview ready or podcast ready, but it is what it is. I made the promise and here we are now.
When are you ever podcast ready? You're not.
I don't think anyone's ever podcast ready.
You're never podcast ready.
Yeah.
But look, I can sit here and talk to you about YouTube all day. I can sit here and talk to you about how you've just hit 100,000 subscribers. But I don't want to talk about that. We'll talk about that later on. I want to dive into Raheem as a child.
Raheem as a child. Where do we start?
Let's start at little young Raheem. Where was you brought up? Yeah. Family, brothers, sisters, mum, dad. What was your upbringing like?
So I was born in... Where was I born? What area?
Hospital, bro.
Yeah, hospital. Yeah, I don't know that, but I'm trying to think about area. East Ham, okay. East London.
Yeah.
And then moved to Beckton when I was a baby. I can't even remember the road. But then from there, went back to East Ham. And then I was in East Ham until year 4, I think. And then I moved to my area where I live now. And I'm not going to break down the camera.
Not going to disclose that.
Yeah. But yeah.
No, what was it like? Family, wealthy? Would you come from?
No, I mean, we come from normal, humble beginnings, man. Just normal family. Obviously, my dad worked a normal job. My mum was working a normal job.
Strict mum and dad? Strict
in the sense of, I don't know, man. What do you define as strict? They weren't strict. They weren't strict, but we did have like curfews and stuff like that growing up. You know,
you was disciplined.
Disciplined, yeah.
It wasn't just
they raised me well and my sisters in the sense of like, you know, we were polite, good manners. Treat everyone, you know, equally. We always look at it now, like when little kids come to our house and they're just running around like little kids. Yeah. Like we were never like that. My mum always just tell us that no, we were never like that. We were always good, well behaved kids. And then from there, obviously school life.
And when you was younger, what was your dreams? What did you want to be as a kid? Everyone's got a dream. I think I wanted to.
I never had a dream.
You really, genuinely?
No, generally never.
You never knew what you wanted to do.
No.
That's different, you know.
No,
most people always have like some sort of, even if it's a footballer, like 90% of the people out there want to be footballers.
No, I was never really into football like that. Still not really into football like that.
Was you into YouTube?
No, because YouTube wasn't out then. YouTube came out.
Oh shit, yeah, 2000.
I'm born in 97. YouTube came out in 2006, but when it became mainstream, it was probably like 2008 to 10. So I would have been 13 years old by that time. That was pretty much when I was in like year 8. I think that's how old you were.
YouTube's not really.
Yeah, YouTube wasn't even like that back then. You know.
So you had no dream, I want to be this.
No, because now you're making it sound like I didn't have no dream.
No, but listen, I'm sure you got dreams now.
Yeah. Okay, what I will say is that I didn't have a set career path. Like, you know how everyone, when they're younger, they were like, I want to be an astronaut or I want to be a doctor or something like that. I don't think anyone says they want to be a doctor, but you know, along them lines. I don't think I ever had a career path set out for me, vision in my head. Maybe I wanted to be a race car driver or something along them lines.
I've seen the way you drive, so probably can imagine that. I
drive like a normal guy. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I've seen the way you drive.
What about success-wise? Did you want to be a millionaire? Was you into supercars? Did you want
to? I've always wanted the lifestyle. I just didn't know what I was going to do to get it.
Cool.
Do you know what I mean?
You still had a dream then, bro. You still wanted to be something.
Okay, I had a dream in terms of what I want my lifestyle to look like. Yeah. Career-wise, I didn't have necessarily have a dream set out like that.
What's going on, guys? If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you scroll down. We're now live on Spotify, so you can watch us while you're driving, listen to us while you're in the gym. Pretty much just listen to us anywhere. And make sure you give us a 5-star review on Spotify. Thank you. And in school-wise, what did you do? Did you finish GCSEs, go into...
Well, my biggest accolade and achievement is the fact, and I'll still remember this, is I got A star in maths in GCSE.
Oh, really?
That's the best grade I've ever got.
That
Because everything after that was downhill.
No, A star in maths is good.
Yeah, no, but everything else, I haven't got an English GCSE even up till now.
You know, you just missed it by 2 years, because with me, if I didn't get a GCSE, you had to keep redoing it.
I went to Bill High School, done my, GCSEs there, and then came to A levels. So GCSEs, I pretty much smashed everything. Physics, I got A. Biology, got B. A star maths, like I said, that's the biggest accolade I got. And then I messed up in a few grades and I couldn't go to sixth form in Bill. Okay. So then I had to go to sixth form in Luxford because they'd take anyone, basically, yeah. So I literally went up on enrollment day, said, yeah, I'm coming. They were like, yeah, cool. They didn't even ask me about my English GCSE. 2 months into sixth form, they asked me about English GCSE, told me I had to resit it, and I was like, nah, dead that, I'm not bothered. I do not care about writing no essays, or I can speak and write English, that's all I need to know. So I never recited it, basically.
While you was in Luxford, that's the name of it, right? Yeah. How were your exams? How was you finding it in there at that point?
So I done a BTEC applied science level 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the 2 years, I walked out of 1 P.
A P?
A P. Like, it's
what, a
bear in
grade?
mind, yeah. Bear in mind, you're meant to walk out if I have a P, pass merit distinction.
Yeah.
So you're meant to get 3. I got 1 pass because we had different times in that school.
We had different times in that school. But so clearly you weren't focused in school. You didn't give a shit about school. Let's be honest.
No.
Clearly,
grades,
I didn't. You didn't give a shit.
Not in sixth form. Definitely not. No.
So you obviously left there with a with a P.
Just 1 P.
Did you get a job?
No. I had a job during sixth form. I was a lifeguard.
A lifeguard
at Nuffield Health in Ilford.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which is a completely different from what I'm doing now.
Yeah, definitely.
I was a lifeguard in Ilford. I enjoyed it. I was there for about 1.5 years. I want to say 2 years almost. And then after I left sixth form, I've done a foundation course in uni to go to uni because obviously my parents being an Asian background.
Stereotypically, from like the friends I was surrounded with, most of my friends were Asian and stuff, and their parents, like my parents, Mediterranean parents, are strict. Mm-hmm. If you don't get good grades, you're in trouble. And you didn't get good grades. So what happened? How did mom, dad?
I told them I passed everything.
Oh shit, you lied to her, boy.
Yeah. You know, if my parents are...
Wait, do they still think you've passed?
Huh?
Do they still think you've passed till today? This guy, bro.
Look, I just told him I'm going uni, and I got into uni. That's the main thing that counts. I don't think they know that I walked out with just 1 P and the fact that I was about to...
Did they not get the letter home?
No.
Because in my one, they got like a letter got sent home saying my results.
No, I went to school to get the letter.
Oh, obviously, of course you did.
Yeah. Trust me, I got a loophole for everything.
So, you've left there.
Yeah.
You've obviously done terrible. You've become a lifeguard.
Yeah.
Question for you though: while you was in that circle, what were your friends doing?
In sixth form, same thing as me.
Was anyone an entrepreneur? I want to start this. I want to do that.
The only entrepreneur I had experienced in school, this was in Bill, so it was between year 7 and year 11. There was a big guy called John. Yeah. And he was just selling sweets. He was the only one in the whole of school pretty much selling sweets. Yeah. So that was the only thing I experienced. In Luxford, there was complete opposite. So we were doing some stupid that would distract us in sixth form basically. So we were never focused like that. None of us in the class were. So we all pretty much, I remember in the last week of year 13, we banged out the whole year 12 work and year 13 work
in 1 week.
In 1 week basically. We cheated a lot, don't get me wrong.
Of course.
And we all walked out with like 1 pass. Some people walked out with 2 passes. It was a mess. It was a mess.
Clearly.
I don't regret it though.
No, listen, that's part of your life. You don't regret nothing in life.
Yeah.
So what happened after?
After that, like I said, went to uni, done a foundation course, and then only went to uni because my parents wanted me to go to uni. So I studied accounting.
What was you studying?
Accounting and finance. So the foundation course was basically just to get your skills up, to be accepted, to get UCAS points to go into accounting and finance. So I've done that. 6 months into accounting and finance.
You thought?
I thought, nah, dead this uni thing. Do you know what? I've never been into studying like that. Yeah. I'm not advising anyone to follow the same path as me, but I've never cared about studying uni, flipping school, whatever it is. I've never really, followed it like that. So yeah, 6 months in, dropped out. And at this time, I was also working in a Carphone warehouse, which I forgot to mention. So in the times where I was going uni to my parents, I was going Carphone warehouse. Working. Yeah, to come home uni times or whatnot. If I finished at 8 o'clock at Carphone warehouse, I'll just tell them, I was just chilling out with the boys after uni or studying, something like that. Exactly that. I remember my line got to a point so bad that we went on a family holiday, and I took my uni books on the holiday to study because I got exams coming up.
But you actually took uni books?
Yeah.
You went and bought uni books just to take?
To keep up the lie.
You know, I don't even know half of this shit about you.
No, you don't.
I actually
Like
don't.
we said on the phone last night. You know me as a brother.
Yeah, this is what. Yeah,
you
this
don't
is
know.
what I said,
You don't know Raheem like
The
that.
naughty boy.
No,
Not
I wouldn't say
even at
naughty boy,
school,
but
naughty man.
Yeah.
Did he, one pass.
So yeah, I took my uni books on holiday, even though I didn't have no uni, didn't have no exams. I just had to make my parents believe that I've got exams and whatnot. So they were like, "Yeah, go on, son. You know you're studying hard and
They're probably
whatnot."
telling all their family, like all the other aunties,
Yeah,
cousins.
yeah.
Oh yeah, my son's in uni.
Exactly that. And then eventually they found out that I dropped out because then a letter came home from the uni saying the attendance is bad. You know, can you fix it?
Yeah,
And my parents always open my letters, even till
So what
today.
happened?
So they clocked it and they said, "What? You're not at uni?" So they forced me to go back into uni. So I went back to the same uni. I done the exact same thing. I went there for 6 months. Once again, dropped out, and I was like, "Nah, dead this." Yeah. And then I was still working in car for most of the time, so I carried on working in car for my house. Then moved to where did I go from there? I went to Virgin, I think Virgin Media in not Southwood. What's the other? Wood Green.
Wood Green.
Yeah.
Really? You went all the way down there? That's the hood. Wood Green's the hood.
Yeah, I went to Wood Green. I remember when I was in Wood Green. Yeah, we used to watch football and play songs and all that on the TV.
Yeah.
And I remember I was with one of my workers, one of my colleagues. I was playing Tion Wayne, I think,
Yeah.
or Heady one of them. I don't know which one's got beef with the other, but I was playing one of them. And one of my boys was like, "Turn that off right now," sort of thing. Like, you have to.
So where did you go from there?
That was my life, pretty much, man. That was it.
So
like,
at what point then did you think, okay, cool, I like this? What even made you want to start YouTube?
Okay, so I'll get to one last thing, yeah?
Yeah.
After all those jobs and uni, I was like, all right, uni is clearly not enough for me, yeah? And it's not something I want to do. Maybe I should start working. So then I got an apprenticeship in BT,
Okay.
yeah, as a network engineer, office job. And that's when I was like, all right, cool, I'm actually here now and whatnot. And this was in September 2019, I believe, when I got the apprenticeship.
What's going on, guys? This video is being brought to you by Maurice Andrew Solicitors. As you're all aware, we've done a season 2 all about crime. If you watch that all and you're in any situation like that and need help getting out of the situation, reach out to Maurice Andrew Solicitors and see if it's something they can help you with.
Remember, there's a defense for every offense.
Raheem, you're sitting there telling me a story, bro, and you can't stop twitching, moving. What's going on? You're the host. Like,
It's the
you're
first
normally
time
the host. What's
ever.
happening?
But it's different. It's the first time ever me being a guest.
No,
and I'm clocking now.
Stop a
I don't
minute.
know how people are doing this.
Hold on. This is the second time. Little sneak peek for all you lot. If Raheem can find the footage, there'll be a little clip somewhere.
I don't find
You
the
can't
footage,
find it.
yeah.
About a year ago, Raheem phoned me up during lockdown and was like, "Yo, do you want to interview me?" And I was like, yeah, why not?" Interviewed him.
But generally, just sitting here right now, I can understand how guests feel when they come on the
not easy,
podcast.
is
It's kind of like intimidating.
Yeah, so now you remember when you done me.
Yeah.
Remember that?
But you had the gift of the gab, mate.
Yeah, I've always got the gift.
I mean, I've got the gift of the
I
gab
just
as
sit
well,
there.
but now that I know
Shall I tell you
cameras
what, I
on me
think
as a
because
guest.
and because you've built up such a good reputation, you've hit 100,000 subscribers. You're probably thinking, shit, this needs
And
to
you
be
notice
as
as well,
good as.
no one knows anything about me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we're about to find out everything.
I know we're about to find out everything, but it's nerve-wracking because this is me revealing
Everything.
everything. Do you know what I mean?
So listen, throw it back. You was in BT.
Yeah,
You was working there.
yeah.
What happened?
So I thought, BT, this is it. This is my life. Like,
Yeah.
and I was comfortable in the beginning, knowing that this is my life. I'm gonna be the rest of my life. You know, I'll eventually finish the apprenticeship, get a job, go up to 27, 30 grand salary or whatever it is over the course of 5 years. And I was like, then it just clicked to me. I was like, nah, dead that. And then fortunately, somehow lockdown came around. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is March 2020. And then they were telling us to work from home. Also, what I must say as well, and hopefully I don't get sued for saying this from BT, yeah, but it was the worst apprenticeship I'd ever experienced in my
Really?
life. Literally, they would not teach you nothing. I remember me and the co-worker next to me, the girl who was doing apprenticeship with me,
Yeah.
we were just on Netflix all day, doing whatever we
But
want.
they did not teach you shit.
Nothing at all.
Well, just chill.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And then I remember, we used to get study days as well.
Yeah.
So I used to go in on the Friday. That was my study day, and we had to go to work to study in it, but we could go to a different room. So I used to go to work on Friday, go Jummah, and bounce.
That's it,
Literally,
they're
that's it. Yeah, I used to watch movies downstairs. I used to hire out one big lecture hall sort of thing, put the projector screen on, watch Netflix, whatever, with this girl.
And they didn't care.
No, they didn't care. No one, they didn't come in nothing. So then after Jummah, I just used to bounce, go home, call it
Why
half
not?
day.
If no one's checking up on
Yeah,
you,
no one
you're
check
not going to
nothing.
sit there and wait, are
Yeah,
you?
and then lockdown came around, and they told us start working from home. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, what the hell are we doing working from home? Like, I don't even know what I'm doing in the first place. So then I stopped logging on,
Yeah.
and then eventually started getting onto me, started calling my number, saying, where are you? Like, where are you in the meetings and stuff? And I remember telling my manager, why am I coming to the meetings when I don't even know what we're talking about? I don't even know what the job is. Yeah. And then, yeah, just stopped logging on. Eventually, they came down to a decision to say, yeah, put you in a meeting. We'll get 7 days notice we're going to think about either getting rid of you or keeping you on. I said to them, listen, just make your decision now. Get rid of me. I'm happy. Yeah. So then I was like, all right, cool. From this point onwards, you no longer work for BT. I was like, all right, safe, wicked. I was bare happy. I can't lie.
Yeah, but then money, life.
Okay, so going back a little bit. So I started the apprenticeship in September 2019. Ceocast was essentially born in December 2019.
Okay, so you had a few months there.
Yes, I had a few months. So by this point, I had accumulated maybe 100 subscribers or something like that.
That's a big target. Now you're 100 subscribers.
Yeah, and obviously I knew that YouTubers make money and all that sort of stuff. So my goal was, all right, cool. In this lockdown.
But you can't just say I've not started YouTube. What made you want to start YouTube? Like me, I started doing
because I got scared that this was going to be my final job. Yeah, and I was like, this is dead. I don't want to do this. I want to start my own business and run that.
Did you have an inspiration?
I've always been into business.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always loved business. And I wanted to start my own business. So my idea was, let me talk to business owners.
Okay.
And I'll decide what business I want to have from there.
But while doing that, I'm going to film myself.
Yeah, I don't know what made me think to bring a camera and whatnot. So I just brought my phone along, bought a £20 mic on Amazon, and the first one went live with one of my mates.
Well, that was your what, £20 camera? Because I know your setup now.
Yeah.
You've got the best of the best.
Yeah.
For people, how much even is all your setup?
Altogether, you're probably looking at about 10 bags.
10 grand, it's big money. Because really, when you think about it, it's microphones and cameras.
Yeah.
So you spent 10 grand on that.
Yeah.
And
I didn't realise how expensive cameras were when I started. Yeah. Lighting, mics, everything, whole shebang.
And you've got to have it all right as well, especially lighting, like we know.
Yeah.
There's not lighting.
So my idea was to start the podcast. Once I figure out what business I want, I'm going to bounce from the podcast.
Okay.
I've got my business now. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then, just kept doing podcasts, and I fell in love with doing the podcast. And I was never on camera at first as well.
Yeah.
I'll try and find a clip for you as well to put in, but I was never ever
I've
on
seen
camera.
It. You showed me it, the
Yeah.
first ever one.
Yeah,
It's in a
yeah.
car garage, no?
No. That was the second one.
Okay.
But the first ever one, it was, so imagine you're my mate.
And the camera's there on me.
Yeah.
And you're behind the camera asking questions.
Yeah. And I was just like, we all sat down and watched it, and we were like, no, this is dead. How can we look at my man's face 1 hour? No offense to you, mate, but how can we do that?
That's true.
So then we bought a second camera along. Slowly got into the gist of it. I was very, very dead, and naturally I'm an introvert, so it was hard for me to talk on camera and whatnot.
And who was editing and stuff like that? Because listen, we know now.
Bro, to this day, I'm still editing.
No, I know, but as in back then, how did you pick it up? How did you even
I've
learn?
done media in year 11, so
Okay,
I had
so
the
you knew it a little
basics.
bit.
I knew how
Okay.
to cut and slice and put things together and whatnot,
Okay,
so
cool,
I
fair
knew I
enough.
had that knowledge. So I done it all on iMovie. Then eventually bought another laptop, done it in Premiere Pro, etc. That's all technical conversation. So
Yeah, people won't understand. People won't understand that.
And then from there, the podcast just snowballed on, and then I met a geezer called Mikey Melon.
Yeah, I remember him. He was a good guy. Good guy.
I remember I met him before I had 1,000 subscribers. Yeah.
I remember. I'll tell
So
the story.
what
on
month
that.
did Melon Tube open?
March the 7th we opened.
Okay. All right.
When did you interview me?
May.
Okay.
But you opened and then lockdown came.
Yeah. So I'll tell you all the story. So I've never in my life, I'm telling them how you reached out to me and what actually happened. So in my head, I'm a no one. Never cared about it. Never thought anything of it. Raheem messaged me once. I saw it. I was like, whatever. Ignored it. Just didn't really give a shit about it. Went to a supercar meet. No, but I'm thinking, so you want to film a podcast?
Went to a supercar meet. It was a Melon supercar meet.
Sorry, Melon's supercar meet. And then we drove into central London and we was there and we met Dawood.
No, this was the plan.
I was going to tell him, Raheem would tell you his plan because fucking calculated fucker, this guy.
Yeah, so I already knew that this is the Melon supercar meet. Obviously, the owners of Melon going to be there. They got a name within Essex for the restaurant. I was like, I need to get a restaurant owner on. Let me get Melon.
Yeah.
Just so happens that they have a supercar meet. So we came here, me and my mate Kasim in his white Rolls Royce, chauffeur. We came here, then we drove to Central. And my plan was, look, I need to somehow
speak to him.
Speak to Mikey.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't ever go up to people. Now I do, but back then I didn't. So I need to go up to people, speak to Mikey, speak to who I thought was your brother at first, which is your dad. And see if we could do it. So I was like, all right, how am I going to get in that door, in that conversation? So I made one quick phone call. I knew Dawood Magician. I was like, listen, Dawood, how quick can you get to central London right now? He goes, mate, that's how he speaks, by the way. Mate, I'm like 10 minutes away from there. I'm coming. I was like, safe, come. So he was the idea. He was the icebreaker. I brought him straight to you. You were in your...
So you actually said, go over to him and do magic?
I said, look, come, let's do magic. He's the owner. Look, he's the one of the R8.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I was
You
like,
really
he's
had a
like,
plan, innit?
Yeah, 30 years old. Come, look, he's in the R8.
He's 30 years old.
Yeah.
I was 21 then when we done that podcast.
Fake passport, I'm telling you now. For a fact.
So yeah, he come over to me. I'll tell him my side of it because that was your plan. You had all that planned. I never knew none of this.
Yeah.
Reached out to me, and after he reached out to me again after the supercar meet, and was like to me, "Met you at the supercar meet. Can we do a podcast?" And I was just like, "Yeah, all right. Like, we're in lockdown. Restaurants closed. Cool." I remember I was at home and I thought, "What top shall I wear?" I swear to God, this was the exact thing. I wore a navy long sleeve polo. Yeah, put on the top. I was like, "No, I need to look a little bit professional."
I think in this podcast we got to overlay clips just so people know what we're talking about because
So
not everyone's gonna know.
I was thinking, all right, cool. Let me put on this long sleeve thing. All right, yeah, this looks a little bit professional.
Yeah,
Because you know me, I never wear long sleeve. I look smart in that podcast.
Yeah.
I looked bare fat in it as well. Yeah. Why didn't you tell me that? Anyway, so
Didn't know you like that.
so done the episode, and I left there thinking, what have I done? Like, is that going to be good? Not good? And it popped.
So this is the reason why I was mentioning this whole story because that was a massive, massive turning point in CEO cost from when I met you before 1,000 subscribers. And I remember that first week the podcast done 10,000 views. Now you got to bear in mind.
That's good even for now.
That's good even for now. But you got to bear in mind back then, my podcast in a week, they were averaging about 100 views. So for it to suddenly hit 10,000 was next level.
Yeah.
I was gassed. I remember everyone around the UK. I remember this proper, like, I was getting tagged on Instagram stories. People in Birmingham, people in Manchester, Liverpool, wherever. Just people just sitting here watching this podcast. People I knew from years ago are saying, "Yo, like you're on YouTube right now, whatnot." And I was like, "Yeah, this is crazy. This is sick." So then that got me over to 1,000 subscribers, and then from there,
Aleem was after.
yeah, because you messaged him.
Yeah,
Because that same day of that supercar meet, you and Aleem,
he was here.
Yeah, you and Aleem were bombing it through Central, like absolute.
Well,
you know,
we was doing the speed limit.
Speed limit, of course, yeah. One guy in an R8 convertible.
He was in his,
Aleem in his Hurricane Spider convertible.
He was in a white, both white as well.
Yeah, both white. Yeah, so you lot were kicking it off and whatnot. So I said to you, "Yo, like message Aleem." So you did. So I appreciate you for that. And then that was after. Who was the episode after you?
Because Aleem was straight after me.
Was it?
Or JD was before me.
So after you was Call Me Ham,
Yeah.
Hamagram. Then it was Mike from Motec.
And then Aleem.
Then Aleem, yeah, which was sick. And then Aleem's one popped off differently.
I remember what I watched. That's the only podcast
Yeah.
I watched the whole podcast of.
Yeah, and I said this to him when we done our recent podcast as well, the one in Dubai. I said we got to redo this. We need to redo this podcast. Me and him have been speaking for about a full year after that podcast, saying look, we need to redo this one because I look back at it now and I cringe because I'm so
you were so new to it.
Then I'm thinking this is the biggest person I've had on the podcast. I was almost like fanboyish because knowing Aleem from when I was young, seeing him picking up Rolls Royce Drophead or 458 whatever. I've known Aleem, right? Being a petrol head, I know all these people. And I'm sitting in front of him doing a podcast. I'm thinking, this is next level.
So that was a turning point.
That was a turning point.
So obviously, them two podcasts went viral. Let's
say. Yeah. In our definition of viral.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that obviously pushed your subscriber count up massively.
Yeah, I think by the time I finished with Aleem's podcast, I was on 5,000 subscribers.
And that's a big deal. Listen, for anyone out there who knows the YouTube industry, and we've all, like me and my boys always say it, having 100K on TikTok, on Instagram or TikTok, is actually easy.
Mm-hmm.
Not easy. I'm not going to sit here and say I ain't even got 100K on either, but it's a lot easier than having 100K on YouTube. Having 100K on YouTube is people respect it. They see that and say, yeah, you know what? He's doing his thing. He's a YouTuber. There's no such thing as being a Instagrammer, really, is there? I don't really class it as being an Instagrammer.
Because everyone nowadays has over 100K on Instagram. Whether it's bought or whether it's flipping, I don't know what it is, but everyone's got minimum 100K.
So I think you're sitting here now with 100,000 subscribers.
Alhamdulillah.
You've worked hard for that. You're on episode number...
God knows about it.
100 and... Do you not put episode on your things?
Yeah, I do. But
you must be over 100 episodes now, no?
Yeah, I'm over 100 episodes now.
So that's not... You got to remember as well.
At the time of this recording, episode, 104 just went live, I think. 104.
So you got to remember as well, you've done 104 weeks back to back. Yeah, you've missed a few here and there.
But don't get me wrong, it was hard in lockdown.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
Yeah.
But it's hard all the time.
Yeah.
I can relate to you because there's some days where stuff goes wrong. Like if you could just tell us what's gone wrong in episodes. I'm sure you've had corrupted files. You've probably had guests not turn up. You've probably had you not want to just... You might be down one day and think, I really can't bother to film one day. Or you ain't got a trim or anything can go wrong. Have you had any...
Yeah, I've had loads of those hiccups and stuff like that, especially in the beginning where I didn't really know what I was doing.
What's one that stands out in your memory?
We'll get into this later on, but it was to do with Charlie Sloth, so we'll get into that later on.
Okay, cool.
Audience retention and all that, do you know what I mean?
We're only half an hour in.
Don't worry, bro. All the attention off.
This geezer wants to. All right, cool.
But no, lockdown was probably one of the hardest things as well. Because
how was you filming during lockdown? Did you do any like Zoom? Oh, you did.
Yeah, doing it on Zoom, and I hated it because, like, firstly, you don't make the same connection you do with a person like you do over Zoom.
Yeah.
Right.
No, 100%.
Secondly, the quality is just terrible, and I was big on quality. So, like I said, I started with my phone and £20 microphone, and then when lockdown hit, or just before lockdown, I probably ordered about £1,000 worth of equipment, a couple of cameras.
And that's a big investment for someone.
That mic set up and everything like that.
And that's a big investment for someone who.
Yeah, that's everything I've earned from BT so far.
You don't even know if it's going to work.
Yeah, of course. But
you literally put your everything into something that might not even work.
My idea was like, if the quality is there, then eventually the numbers will get there as well.
So what was it like when you... Did you film anyone during COVID? Like masks on and shit like that?
No.
All just Zoom?
Yeah, because half the people, if I did do them in person, they didn't believe in COVID in the first place.
True.
So that's a whole nother conversation in itself.
True.
But yeah, that was probably the hardest bit.
So Raheem, you left BT and then you started YouTube. And mom, dad, family, did anyone know you was even on YouTube?
Well, firstly, no one knew I left BT. So if they see this podcast now, they know.
Well, they still don't know.
I've told you this before, but my parents, I've never told them red-handedly I have left BT. They've always made the assumption and whatnot because I've never working on a laptop, apart from doing Ceocast stuff. But they know that I'm not at BT anymore. But I've never openly said it. So if they watch this, mum, dad, I no longer work there.
I'm not there anymore.
Yeah, not there anymore. But yeah, when I started YouTube, I didn't tell no one.
Just a quick thing I want to ask you. I know you got a sister. You got two sisters, right?
Yep.
And you tight with any of them?
Yeah.
Like, tight?
Yeah. Bear in mind, I've got no brothers, so
you have to be tight.
Yeah, no, I'm very tight with my sisters, man.
So
they're my only siblings, yeah.
And did you tell them?
So I didn't tell anyone when I started YouTube. I didn't tell anyone apart from my mate who I had to record with.
Yeah.
He knew, and that clique of boys knew. Which were my cousins and a couple of my mates. My sister knew because I asked for her camera when I wanted to upgrade. She had some dead camera, which was sick at the time. Don't get me wrong. So I asked her, she was like, what are you going to do? I was like, don't worry, I'm doing YouTube, but don't worry. And then after 4 episodes, then I remember I was driving my mates. We were going central somewhere. I can't remember what we were doing exactly. One of my boys asked for my phone to play music. I was driving, obviously. He was on YouTube. Then he sees Ceocast and he's like, yo, Raheem, what's this? I was like, oh. And I was just embarrassed because you got to bear in mind, no one from the ends has done anything on YouTube. No one at all. It was unheard of. And it was almost, I want to say, like, it's embarrassing. You're a bit of a weirdo. Like, what are you on YouTube for? You're moving moist, all that sort of stuff. So I never told anyone that. So that was that. But yeah, no, I didn't tell anyone. Always been close to my sisters. But then my parents found out.
What happened when they actually found out? Were they supportive of it?
Do you know what? They're supportive of everything I do. Yeah. I got to give credit to my parents because they're supportive of every single thing I do. Yeah. Business moves or whatever it is, starting a podcast, anything. They're very, very supportive. But being the older generation that they are, I can't sit here and say that they understand it fully because even now they still fully don't. Yeah. So they just didn't understand it. My dad was always saying, no, you got to go back into work. Even recently, I'm being dead serious. My mum would tell me, she would send me job applications all the time on WhatsApp and be like,
like now?
Yeah, now.
Okay.
And she'll be like,
so clearly she don't know about the YouTube money.
We'll get into that.
Don't worry, I just had to throw a little teaser in there.
Yeah, because I've never really told them or spoken to them about it anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've always been supportive, but they just don't understand it. So they would always say like, when you're going to go back into work, or they wouldn't. They would be thinking of working. What we're talking about, yeah. They'd just be like, yeah, as long as you're working and you can do this on the side and whatnot, then it's all right. But now they slowly understand it because now my dad's mates say, yo, it's just on YouTube and stuff like that. So they kind of understand.
Growing. Listen, at the end of the day,
they're supportive of everything.
And they must be proud of it as well. Now
very,
they're
very
hearing, oh my God, because bro, you gotta understand, yeah. As much as I know you personally, and I can only say this because I do know you, you're way too humble.
Yeah, everyone says that, but
like you
what
are.
Do you want me to start stunting, flexing?
No, not at all. Not about flexing, but you need to you genuinely don't realize how well you've done on YouTube. Like even down to having one of the most influential men in the world on your podcast, Andrew Tate. Like that in itself is an achievement.
Yeah, of course.
And you've had every person I want on my podcast. I'm like, Raheem's done him.
Don't get me wrong though. I celebrate the achievements I've done. For example, having Andrew Tate on or something like that.
But you celebrate in private, which I've realised.
I celebrate him in private, but also because I know I'm nowhere near where I want to be, I'm not going to celebrate him from long.
So where do you want to be? How big do you want?
100 mil subscribers.
100 mil
So,
subscribers.
along them lines, like
you want to be
I'm
the
at
biggest
100k
podcast
now.
in the world.
Everyone says to me, you're like, I'm on your podcast right now because we hit 100k, and you're probably sitting here thinking, mashallah, 100k. I'm like, all right, cool, 100k. Now we got to get to a mil.
Yeah.
Then we got to get to 10 mil. Do you know what I mean? There's always steps that you got to take. In the YouTube world, I think 100k is tiny. It is tiny. You got to think about it. Look at Mr. Beast, flipping got 100 something million subscribers. Look at if we're looking at other podcasts. Look at Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at Logan Paul, etc. There's so many. So 100k. That's why I can't. That's why I feel like I can't even fit on CEO cast, because who am I to say I'm successful when I'm sitting in front of people?
Do you class yourself
No,
as a
no
CEO?
way. No.
But from a brother and a friend and someone who has been on your show, you have more than enough credentials to say you're now a CEO.
Nah.
Bro, you smashed it. You've smashed the game. I'm not sitting here trying to lick your ass. I'm saying as a brother, you've hit 100,000 subscribers when you started with a £20 microphone.
Yeah.
A camera that probably was in like fucking 10, not even 1080p, probably 720p.
Oh,
like,
God knows what it was. It was crap.
like you, from where you was to where you are, I look at your videos and I get jealous at how good your quality is now. And I'm phoning you up, Raheem, I want better cameras. But you have genuinely, even when it comes down to quality, just quality alone.
Just to let everyone know, these mics and so not the mics, but the cameras that Mike is using now are off my old cameras.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Even down to the lenses, they're all his.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that one right there, the wide lens, that's new. We've never used this before. But no, genuinely, credit where credit is due. As your brother, I just want to say congratulations as well
Appreciate
on
that.
hitting 100,000 subscribers.
Appreciate that.
I always knew you'd do it, though, to be fair with you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's been a journey, man. It's been a journey. Bear in mind, I've been doing this for 3 years now. But that's why I also look at it like 3 years and I've only hit 100k. Man, dickhead. I should be more. But I just think, I don't know, it's difficult, man. It's difficult.
It's a marathon, it ain't no sprint.
I think podcasts have become trendy and everyone's doing podcasts now, yeah? Me and you speak about this.
Single person.
So I think the wavelength of podcasts has picked up, and more so my subscribers have picked up because we're in this bubble of podcasts are the thing. Bear in mind, I've been doing it 2 years before these people have been jumping on podcasts.
The problem is as well, I'm not even saying this in like a jealous way or any type of way, and I have no negativity to anyone out there trying to do well in a podcast, but you're ruining the actual dynamic of it when you've got so many podcasts. But there must be like, every day I'm on my Insta, I'm getting followed by a new podcast. New podcast.
Different thing, yeah.
And the worst thing is, they're messaging me, asking me to go on when you know I've got a podcast. I'm not coming on.
Yeah.
But
And everyone, do you know, everyone can do podcasts. It's up to you, but it's up to you if you stick at it. Because I see podcasts come and go all the single time, every single time.
And moving on to that right now.
Yeah.
You started off, you
Yeah.
said your videos were getting 100 views.
Yeah.
And without being rude, the shit. Yeah, just being honest. Like now, if you got 100 views on a video, you're deleting it. So how did you come through like sticking to it? Because I can understand when you're sitting there and your video's not doing well, how do you then stick at it and say, you know what, nah, I've got to go. I know it's going to do well.
Because I knew it was going to do well. I just believed in myself 100% I was
genuinely-
going to believe it. Because there was no other podcast in my space, entrepreneurship and business, that is doing entrepreneurship and business. So I knew there's a gap. There's the reason why I started it. So I knew other people would want to watch it as well. I knew 100 million% it would work. The self-belief was mad.
But as much as you're saying that, there must have been days where you were down or your video didn't do well, or even when you've done a podcast with, even recently I'm talking about, you've done some big podcasts, which I'm not going to obviously name, but...
Yeah, but they don't do as well as we anticipate.
Even now, we've spoken previously, I don't want to name names of podcasts that you have done, but you phone me up, you've been like, I've got this guest coming on. You've dropped the video and you expect it to do 100k in a week, let's say.
Yeah.
And it does 30k, 40k, which, don't get it twisted, still big numbers. But it's still good, do you know what I mean? From where you started.
Yeah.
But how do you deal with that as well? Because there must be times where you're just like, for fuck's sake, man, why is it not blowing?
Well, before I used to get really annoyed, upset, agitated, and think, what the hell is wrong with me?
Yeah, what am I doing?
What am I doing? But sometimes you got to bear in mind as well, and you can 100% vouch for this. We'll do a podcast with someone, and they don't promote it at all on their side. And bear in mind, our podcast is guest-based.
Yeah.
So we need them to promote it, but they just don't promote it for whatever reason. So before I used to get agitated and whatnot and be like, oh, what the hell, man? Like, what did I do wrong? But now it's just like, here's what it is. On to the next one.
Yeah.
You got to bear in mind, we release podcasts every single week. We've done one podcast, uploaded it, and we don't even think about it anymore. We're on to the next one.
Yeah.
We're on to the next one for 5 weeks' time. Do you know what I mean?
No, I can understand that, because even down to when I first started it, I was phoning up Raheem every day like, my video got 75 views today. Is that good? Is that good? And he was like, bro, delete the app, because there's an app called YouTube Studio for people who don't obviously know.
Yeah.
And it is like...
Yeah, that's one thing I had to do. I used to wake up every single morning and check YouTube
Same,
Studio.
I still do it.
That was the most unhealthiest thing I've ever done in my life.
We're not drug addicts here, But when you're a YouTuber and you get YouTube Studio,
You're a numbers addict.
and not even that, but you get YouTube Studio, I swear to God, bro, my screen time is mainly what YouTube Studio.
Listen, this is my advice to anyone who's becoming a YouTuber or is a YouTuber now. Yeah,
Delete the app.
delete YouTube Studio for your own mental sanity. Delete YouTube Studio.
Don't get it twisted. YouTube Studio is amazing when you just upload and you need to see the ranking of where your
Yeah,
video's
but
at.
do that on a computer. But when you're waking up every single morning and you're checking the views and it's not, you want it to be 100,000 views and it's 10,000 views,
Bro, it's hard.
or it's not the exact figure you want it to be, or it's not a 1 out of 10. You're thinking, but your head goes wild.
Yeah, it does. Honestly, there's been so many times.
You think you start thinking about all the problems. You start making problems for
Bro,
yourself that you don't have.
How many times did I phone you? I phoned him about a month ago.
This geezer's phoned me so many times.
I phoned him about a month ago and I was like, I'm quitting YouTube. That's it. Done. Just quitting. Have you ever had that thought?
Yeah, many times.
And how'd you get through it?
Just crack on. I wish there was a better answer, but I just I go back to what my original goal was.
Your original goal, and what was that?
My original goal, you got to bear in mind, my original goal was to open a business from Ceocast and bounce from Ceocast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I then realized that Ceocast is a business, so I had to make a new goal for myself. So the goal in the beginning, you know how everyone says you got to refer to, how you
Always
started.
revert back to the goal kind of thing.
My goal was completely different. My goal was to start a business. If that was the case, then Ceocast wouldn't be where it is right now. So now just look at it at a point of do it for the people who want to watch it.
But Ceocast is a business.
Yeah, it is a business now.
And I am going to ask you a few questions regarding money, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But everyone wants to know how much money a YouTuber makes.
Yeah.
And today you're going to tell us. But Ceocast, if you could compare it to a business on like a chart, you're doing better than some multi-million-pound businesses, especially the climate we're in where a recession's about to hit. That doesn't really affect the business you're in.
Well, it does.
In what sense?
Because you're forgetting a lot of these businesses. So, for example, we get paid from sponsorships. Yeah, this is one angle of our income. Yeah. What do you think is what do you think is going to happen to the marketing budget of these big companies?
100% all of that's going to drop. And so is YouTube revenue, and it is all going to drop. But your business in particular being a social thing, it doesn't actually, it's not in your control in the sense as restaurant trade. If the customers ain't here, I can't make money.
You have a lot of outgoings as well. Let's not forget.
Just on that note, restaurant, it's got loads of outgoings. You don't have any outgoings, or do you? Have you ever paid any guest to come on your show?
Never.
Because
I never will.
And I always agree to that.
And the reason why is because I feel like if that person's asking for money to come on the podcast, then I don't want them on the podcast. Because my podcast, the reason why guests come on is because they either want to get the message across, they want to inspire people to look up to them, or they want to share their knowledge, whatever the case is. And if you're charging for that, then I kind of don't really want you on, because you're just in it for the money. Then you're not even looking at the inspiration of, charging.
And sometimes I feel like if you're paying a guest to come on, they're never going to be the same as if they want to come on.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point.
If I want to do something and I'm doing it out,
you'll be like, oh yes, I can't wait to go on.
Just out of my goodwill, I just want to help that person out.
Yeah,
I'm going to go and I'm going to put effort in.
Exactly.
If I'm being paid, it's a job. I'm going, I'm doing my job, and I'm leaving.
Exactly that.
And I think that makes a massive difference.
I mean, we have other outgoings in terms of, like, for example, I used to do all the TikToks myself. Now I'll get someone else to do that.
Yeah.
So that's really the only outgoings I do. Other than that, I don't have any other outgoings. I could have started a podcast and hired an editor like some people do. Yeah, and pay X amount to an editor, and your income is just sliced straight into half and whatnot. But some people we're out here grinding, editing and whatnot. And,
I did try editing my first few podcasts.
Yeah, flipping. We was up all night. I remember Mikey. He was like, "Bro, how do I edit this? How do I do this?" So I made him get a MacBook. Come to his house. We were there till 5 a.m.
But even that, when you surround yourself with good people and people in the same industry as you, it helps massively.
Yeah, of course.
Because even that night, we sat there till 5 o'clock in the morning, all talking about shit. But we come back, and I think that triggered all of us to work harder. And I think even me getting a podcast now makes you work harder, and you being my best mate having a podcast makes me work harder. Because when I see one of your videos do well, I look at it, not in a jealous way, but I'm like, I need to get a good video now, because there's someone to look at, someone to look up to and say, I need to do well as 100%.
well. And this is what I want to say as well. Yeah, having a great team around you is the biggest thing that can take you to places. And when people say, it's cliche when people say you must have a great team around you and whatnot. But I think some people think about that in a sense of they've got to be doing business with you, or you've got to be working alongside each other and whatnot. yes, to an extent, but I also agree that you can have a team outside of work. So, for example, there's me and you. We don't work together. We don't pay each other or anything like that.
Yeah.
There's me and my other mate, Shoaib, or me and loads of other mates. Yeah, we're all in a circle that we're all trying to kill it, essentially, right? That's the team. The team is us lot all sitting down, discussing, all right, Mikey, what can me and you do to up level our podcast? What can me and this guy do to, you know,
increase
whatever it is? There's always conversations when you're surrounded with good people like that, and that's what makes the team.
And I think it makes a massive difference when the conversation's different. When you're around people who like going out partying, doing this, doing that, the conversation's always about one certain thing, either girls or going out and stuff like that. Whereas when you're around people who are all about business, the conversation is always money.
Look, this is the thing. I've been around a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, we've all had our party days and, you know, all that sort of stuff. And I'm not out here to expose my sins or anything like that. But we've all had that. But it's time to know when to break away from that.
Yeah, 100%.
Or not even break away from that. You can still do that, but just know when it's time to switch on business, when it's time to work, and when it's time to party. And I think people get caught in the whole party life so much to an extent where it affects their work life and everything around that. Yeah, so I think you can party, you can do whatever you want, as long as you know when it's time to work, that you got to work.
And I can respect that. And as much as I do love hearing about the hardship of YouTube, there's been some good days.
Such as?
Well, there is. Look, you're sitting there.
No, I know, but I'm saying the way you said that is like you got something in your head.
Days, like even down to meeting the guests you've met.
Yeah.
Driving the car you drive. YouTube pay for all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your job. YouTube's your company at the end. Well, CEO.
Cost us all, by the way, if anyone wants to buy it.
Like meeting the guests you've met. The number one person that stands out with me is Andrew Tate.
Mm-hmm.
He's currently in prison right now. Well, I don't know when this comes out. He might be released. I doubt it.
Free Top G.
He's currently in prison. How in the world did you get Andrew Tate on your podcast? And for 1 minute, stop. How many subscribers was you on when you got Andrew Tate on?
30K, I want to say. And this is the interesting thing about it, because I asked the community tab on YouTube, you know, ask questions, and someone said in there, no offense to you, but your channel wasn't that big before, so how the hell did you get the top G on?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? He said no offense. I don't take offense to that, because I understand where he's coming from, right? Yeah. The channel wasn't that big, but this goes back to the point of, if you don't ask, you don't get.
100%.
It was as simple as sending him an email and get a response from him in 3 hours, and I replied to it there and then, and that's how I got Andrew Tate on. I wish there was a more complicated story to say how I got him on, but honestly there wasn't. It was just simply sending him an email and got him on like that, and we arranged the date and everything. Then he was like, WhatsApp me, G. I was like, alright, cool, I'm gonna WhatsApp you.
You got Andrew Tate's number, yeah? You tried calling him while he's inside?
I messaged him the day before, I messaged him on the day he went to jail.
Oh, seriously?
Because I was meant to do a part 2 of him in Dubai, remember?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I was meant to do a part 2 of him in Dubai, and I was going to do one with Tristan a few days after.
Don't worry, part 2 coming once he's out.
Inshallah.
100%.
But then obviously the day we landed in Dubai, everyone was on Instagram. I remember all of us boys, we landed in Dubai.
Because I phoned you and I said, is it fake?
Yeah.
Remember, I phoned you and you was like, I got no idea at this moment in time.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it might have been a marketing stunt. I don't know what it was. But that's the reason why I went to Dubai for New Year's, and that didn't work out. But
and
my point, going back to my point,
it's as simple as sending an
simple.
email.
Like if people don't ask, you don't get. What's the most you're gonna do with rejection? You're gonna deal with someone airing you.
And how do you deal with that when someone does just air you? Do you get any rude people when you DM them like, yo, do you want to come on the podcast? You ever had anyone be rude?
Oh, before early doors of Ceocast, and it wasn't that much of a big name, it would always be like, nah,
you're too
small, or nah, not yet, story's not ready yet. But you could tell they're basically saying, listen mate, piss off, innit? Like, grow some numbers first, then get on. And before I used to get really petty, thinking, alright, safe, you know what, when I get big, I ain't having you on, bruv.
That's what I said to you. Remember that? With that one person I phoned up and I was like, when I get big enough, he ain't ever coming on my show.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You can let the pettiness get to you, yeah. And don't get me wrong, I did a couple of times in the early doors as well. But how did I deal with it back then? I used to get pissed off. Not gonna lie, I used to get pissed off. Now I don't, because it just is what it is.
It's
I understand.
Numbers game.
It's a numbers
You're probably
game.
10 episodes deep as well. You've probably got 10 videos ready to go live.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Realistically speaking, this is how social media works, yeah. Someone might jump on my platform but might not jump on your platform, because they'll see my podcast at 100k and yours is 13k. They'll be like, okay, well, 100k makes sense. Why am I going to do it on 13k?
Yeah,
I want to get my message and my
to more people.
To more people, exactly like that.
It does make a difference.
Yeah.
And
you got to bear in mind as well, this is what I had to experience in the beginning of Ceocast, because I thought, alright, cool, I'm going to start my YouTube channel. I emailed every single big person you could think of, messaged them on Instagram and whatnot. None of them replied. Yeah. Not a single person. And so that was hard to deal with, because I thought, I don't know why I thought in the beginning, at the first start of Ceocast, that I'm going to end up getting people like flipping Elon Musk on or whatnot there and then. That didn't happen.
So how did you build up your name, of course? Because how did you, was it just mutual friends who you got on to start?
It was mutual friends at first. And then the first person I got to give credit to if he watches this, Alex, he owns a company called AWC Detailing in Southend. He's smashing it in his own right anyway. But I remember I sent him an email and he was at my first episode and he replied there and then. He was like, yeah, let's do it. And he was such a lovely guy. He didn't care about no numbers. He didn't care about anything like that. All he cared about was helping me and making sure that it was a good product in there, i.e. good podcast. Yeah, and so that's why I rate him fully, man. But yeah, off the back of that, it just grew from there. People know people.
And I think it takes one guest, and then other people start respecting you more.
Yeah.
When you had me on, that got Aleem on. Aleem then got
someone else
probably
on.
5 people on.
Yeah. It works exactly like that.
Once you get to like 5 good big name episodes, people just keep
bouncing.
Bouncing,
you build name, you build reputation. Exactly that.
Like, it gets to a point now where I can guarantee you've probably got 50 DMs where people want to come on the show, but you just need to filter.
More time now when I'm filming podcasts, it's always that person has approached me.
Yeah, no, I can 100% agree.
I don't say that in an ego way. I'm just saying it like, alhamdulillah, it's got to a place now where I don't really have to do much outreaching. People always message me saying I want to come on a podcast.
That's the main thing, though. That means you're doing something good, and people respect you as a host because.
But then it does piss you off at the same time as well, because you get people who just start their business and want to come in for exposure.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
And sometimes you get people who have ulterior motives coming on your show.
Yeah, of course.
And I've noticed that I've only done 25, I think 30 episodes now, and I see some people coming on simply to advertise themselves.
Yeah.
Not even to come on and talk about a story, but literally to come on and talk about their new business they're launching, which, fair enough, that is what we're for. We're an advertisement.
We're basically PR machines. Let's put it straight. We're PR machines.
We're just adverts. We're long adverts. That's literally what we are. But
this is what one of my friends said to me, yeah? Shout out to Your Positive News. He runs an Instagram page, yeah? I remember we were together, we were out one time, and he was like, look, you need to make Ceocast the place where people do their PR runs. So when artists are releasing their albums or businesses are doing a new launch, it's always, all right, we need to go on Ceocast. Ceocast is now part of our PR run. I'm not saying that's what it is now, because I don't even think it's like that now. But that was always a great idea to have, like, and I think that's where it comes from, like the whole PR thing of people want to spread their message or want to spread whatever they've released or whatever the case is. And what better place to do that than somewhere like Ceocast?
Yeah, no.
Or the BlueTick show, come on.
No, this is all about you today. And I understand all of that. And there's one question I want to ask. And we're an hour in, and I know every person on here is probably sitting here waiting to hear it. How much do you make from YouTube?
100 grand a month.
Clickbait.
Yeah, that's absolute. I want to know how many people of you lot come from TikTok right now just from that one clip.
100%.
Now you know how YouTube and TikTok works and everything like that.
That's all it comes down to.
No win. If it was 100 grand a month.
Do you make enough money? I know you're not going to sit here and state how much money you make, but do you make enough money where you genuinely do not need a job at all?
No, alhamdulillah, I don't need a job.
But
look, what I will say, I won't talk about financial figures because I don't like talking about figures.
Yeah, I know that.
That's why I don't even mention it on my podcast, yeah. But what I will say is it allows me to live a good life, to do things that I want to do, and live the way I want to live. I.e., if I want to go to Dubai tomorrow, I can go to Dubai tomorrow.
And he does.
I do.
He always does it as well.
Yeah. If I want to buy a new car tomorrow, I can buy a new car tomorrow. Go out to eat, it's not a problem. Do you know, it depends how you live your life as well, because I don't spend a lot of money. People will spend the money going on designers, or if you drink, I'm sure drinking can get expensive, but I don't do none of that.
No, you don't.
So I'm very good at stacking my money.
You're
and
very, 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 I must say, not even in a rude way, but a very simple person. You live a very simple life.
I don't have one single piece of designer clothes or anything flashy.
Raheem spends money on is cars.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
what I enjoy.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's the main thing. And 99% of the rest of your money goes back into reinvestment in your
show. Yeah, exactly.
You're always trying to upgrade. You're always trying to get a better something. So
my point being is, look, YouTube, no, it doesn't pay 100 grand. Yeah, a month. I wish it did, and inshallah it will do in the future, 100%. No doubt about that, because if you know the figures that Mr. Beast earns, he probably makes about
10 times that a month.
He probably makes about 50 to 100 M a year.
Yeah, okay, easy.
Yeah, so that's crazy. He makes like what's that?
$1 million a
week. $1 million a week, yeah, exactly that.
Or
yeah.
2 million a week.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
That's mad.
He's on a different level.
Yeah.
So my level with YouTube is like, yeah, you can live a good life. So the way I break it down to people is, all right, 100k subscribers, you can just about probably afford a Lambo on finance, for example. Million subscribers, you could probably buy the Lambo outright cash. Yeah.
Every month.
Yeah, maybe so every month. Yeah. And the way I'd explain it like this is, I don't think, you know how Tate advertises lifestyle, Bugatti and all of this and all of that.
Yeah.
YouTube won't buy you that. YouTube won't get you that at all. That's when you got to start your own business and have different sources of income and whatnot.
But it's
YouTube
what comes off the back of YouTube.
Yes, but YouTube itself, I'm talking me and you doing podcasts, ain't gonna buy us a Bugatti, bro.
No.
Do you know what I mean? But it'll buy us a Lambo.
Yeah.
So it depends what life you want to live. If you're comfortable with the Lambo lifestyle,
It's more than happy.
you're more than good. But if you want Bugatti lifestyle, which I'm sure we both do, we want more than YouTube. Do you know what I mean?
I want more than Bugatti.
I want Melon.
No, but look, we can sit here and discuss YouTube money all day, and I've seen no YouTuber ever discuss money because they don't want a tax man running through the door. But it's
It's not even just about that.
It's about people work so hard they don't ever want to feel like they're bragging.
Exactly.
Because it's not YouTube as much as people look at it and think, like, do you know how many people say to me, you just talk for an hour? Like, what? That's you come and sit here with cameras and lights and everything on you and let me see if you don't crumble.
Do you remember when we filmed the video with your dad?
Like, yeah.
That was the funniest thing
I
ever.
filmed a video with my dad last week, and it was a 60-second video. And I kept saying to him, it's not easy being on camera. It's not easy being on camera.
He was like, "No, it's light work."
He goes, easy. Pulled out the camera, and he was like, oh, shit. And that was no lighting, no camera, no one watching.
People think it's easy to be on
You gotta
camera.
remember, when you're dropping these podcasts, especially with big guests, you can have 100,000 views. You can have 100,000 faces watching you, and you might fuck up. You might look silly. You might not.
You might get cancelled.
Yeah, you might get cancelled. But listen, touch wood.
How did you get over the fear of having your face on camera? Because this was something I struggled with in the beginning as well, you know, getting used to the fact that my face is now out there.
So me personally, I've always been quite a vain kid in the sense that I've
100%
always
facts,
loved
yeah.
Instagram, posting pictures, looking good, whatever.
Yep, Skeezer
But
loves himself.
one thing I will say is being on a podcast, I'm not even worried about being out there looking. I don't care. I genuinely do not read comments. So the people commenting that I look bad or whatever, I don't read them. And for everyone, just FYI, I'm only saying this, sorry to interrupt you on here, but I do not interrupt my guests.
Oh, you'll get that all the time, though.
I do
get it
not
so many times in
interrupt
the
my
comments.
guests.
Bro,
It's the editing
Do you know
that
what
makes
it
it
is?
look like that.
People, no, it's not just editing. People make it look, or they think podcasting is easy. So you'll see it in the comments, stop interrupting your guests. Yeah, but the whole point of a podcast is a conversation caught on camera. If you're not interrupting someone's thoughts and opinions, what kind of conversation is that? You could be telling me about
Go on.
a Ferrari,
Yeah.
and you make a mistake on. Nah, this is a crap example.
No, but you know what it is? Sometimes when I'm talking to someone...
Exactly what we're doing right now. This is interrupting each other.
But when they're talking, and sometimes I'll look at a guest and, for example, ask me a question like, how was work today?
How's work today?
And you'll be like, work was good. And then you can look at their eyes and sometimes you can tell that person's struggling to finish the sentence.
Yeah.
So you help them and you're like, all right, so work was good today, just to refresh their brain.
Like, I'll probably a lot more ease now into the podcast that we're doing right now. But in the beginning, the first 15 minutes, you probably have to finish off the rest of my...
I don't know. Comments are probably going to say it anyway, but I'm just saying it does make
Stop interrupting me, Mikey.
Mate, don't even start at that. Honestly,
No, listen,
do
look,
not
podcasting
start.
is not easy. And I think that's a big misconception that people think they could just pick up a camera and do someone else's job. Like me, they'll call me a crap interviewer or something like that. I think it's a lot harder than people actually think it is.
Raheem, one thing I will say, as much as podcasting is hard, you made it very easy for me. You taught me the ropes on everything, literally, and I got to be honest, I always give you credit in all my podcasts. Without you, the BlueTick show would not be here because you made it easy. You taught me how to edit. You gave me the right camera setup.
Yeah, where's my slice of the revenue?
Don't worry, it's coming, man. You showed me it all. Do you not want to help other people?
You know what? You were the last person I helped, yeah? Because I have helped people before. And I've felt used in a sense of I've helped them and they've just be buddy with you. Hey, Raheem, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Let's go out for a shisha. Blah, 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 blah. You help them with the podcast, give them A to Z, and they duck one time. Yeah? I did it for you because you're my brother. You were my brother before you started BlueTick show, yeah? Will I help other people? Yes, but for the right price because I'm giving you my time and energy at the end of the day, and unfortunately that costs. Yeah, 100%. It's just the world that we live in. Look, it's not something that's like gonna be like a shop online and you can buy Raheem's podcast thing. Yeah. You know, maybe I will make one. Maybe I will.
I reckon. Look,
but I wouldn't bum people though.
Look, you lot in the comments, let us know. Do you want Raheem to create something like?
Because the thing is, it's not just a podcast. Let me add this. Yeah, it's the whole basics and structure of YouTube.
It's everything down to the TikTok side of it, down to the timings of videos.
Look, the BlueTick show is proof that what I do works. Yeah.
I have followed everything you've told me to do to a T. I've always said you're my mentor.
Everything I have learned over the 100k subscribers. So yes, it took me long to build to 1k, 10k. It took me ages because I learned that all myself.
But you
But
taught me,
everything I've
and
learned-
now look at what I've done in the space of 6
That's what I'm
months.
saying. And that's all my knowledge from 100k subscribers. That's me, all my knowledge of my whole time on YouTube in the 3-4 years I've been doing it.
Yep.
It's been funneled into your channel, and you're already on 13k, which would have taken me, if I look back at it,
Over a year.
over a year easily.
And I've done that in 20 weeks.
Yeah, in 20 weeks.
8, 12, 5 months.
Yeah, mashallah. Do you know what I mean? So my point is, the structure's there, so it works for vlogging. It works for anything else you're trying to do, not just podcasts, but it's YouTube.
It works for YouTube.
Yeah, it's a YouTube system, essentially. It's almost like a YouTube academy that I've got in my head.
So look, guys, if you lot do want to see Raheem create some sort of YouTube academy and help you lot, just leave a comment. Raheem's going to go through them and read them all anyway. Leave a comment with what you lot want him to do, and let's see if he can make it happen.
Yeah.
That's all we can say at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
100%.
So look, one thing I want to ask you, me and your boys,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen you for the last 2 years, probably pretty much minimum couple times a week.
Mm-hmm.
But you've obviously got friends from back in the day as well. Have you seen any of your friendship circle change or their outlook on you or anything like that since you've had such a successful YouTube
I'll
channel?
never ever let my friendship circle change. The same
No,
boys.
no. Have you seen them change?
No, I haven't. That's my point. I haven't seen them change.
Okay.
Like the boys I'll chill with in school are still my boys today.
Okay.
Granted, I might not see them every day, but I still got the same love for them.
Yeah.
I still got the same respect for them, and they still got the same respect for me. They still call me by my nickname that they will call me way before Youre.
Yeah.
And that shows me, even though they probably don't realize it, that shows me that they still see me
As the same guy.
As the same guy. If anything, they take the piss out of Youre sometimes. Yeah, like because if we get like let's just say we're out for a meal and someone comes over and they see me and they're like, oh yeah, Raheem, like love your podcast or whatnot. They'll be the first ones there to take the piss.
Yeah. But that's what your boys are for.
Famous now, and stuff like that. That's what your boys are for. So that I'm all for it. And I think the people around me like that. And this, please, if you know me, I'm not saying this is not an invitation to start taking a piss out of me all the time, yeah. But I'm just saying like that just shows you that
Who's real and
who's
who's
real,
not
who's
really.
not.
Have you seen people come out of the woodworks? Have you seen people pop up to you? Hey, bro.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that on the other side of
Yeah.
things, I've also had people from back in the day or people recently who have been like, yeah, Raheem, how you doing and whatnot. But I never let them get to that level like that. Anyway.
I think from meeting the people that you've got around you as well, I've only met a few of them. You got sweet people, and the thing is as well, with not in a rude way to you, but you've got very successful people who are your best friends as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is also motivation in itself. Whereas if you was the top dog and everyone else was trying to be where you was, it would be different.
Yeah.
Whereas your circle is kind of, you're probably one of the bottom tier. Genuinely, not being rude, but I know your friends, and that gives you the hunger. And they probably look down at you as like a little brother in a sense. Whereas I don't know your other side of the friendships with your boys from school and stuff, but obviously
Yeah.
I'm talking about the friends I know.
Yeah.
And I
I
think
mean,
that-
look, they're successful in their own right.
Yeah.
The friends who you're probably talking about are obviously successful in their own fields. That network of friends, that network alone is probably about 10, 15 mil
Yeah, minimum.
minimum. And that's
Minimum.
only like
2-3 friends.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Shout out KBT.
Yes, shout out KBT. But no, listen, that's what makes a difference. At the end of the day, you keep your friends cool, you keep your friends close, and you keep it small circle.
Yeah.
So, Raheem, what are some sides of YouTube that we all don't see?
90% of it.
Like?
The only thing people see are the podcast, the final product.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't see me in my space editing the whole thing. You don't see me arranging the podcast. You don't see me on meetings. You don't see me in doing sponsors. You don't see me doing thumbnails. There's a whole load to it. And I think people think, and this is one thing that really annoys me sometimes as well, even when friends say it, like if they say it as a joke, is that you have the most chill job ever. You barely do anything. You barely work, mate, or something like that.
Oh, it's hard.
And I'm just like, you really do not know, do you?
Nah, the day I gained respect for you was the first episode I ever edited.
yeah.
I sat there and it took me the episode was 1 hour long. It was Ty Mitchell's episode. I edited that
Look,
myself.
you know me. We speak every single day on the phone pretty much,
And
yeah?
all you're doing is editing.
When you call me, what am I doing?
Editing.
If I'm not editing, what am I doing?
Editing.
Okay.
But bro, genuinely, I'm not even being funny.
Look.
Even if you're not editing, you're on your phone doing something related to business.
My life is a circle, essentially. If I'm editing, I'm editing. If I'm not editing, I'm doing a podcast. If I'm not doing a podcast, I'm doing Instagram, TikToks, whatever. If I'm not doing that, then I'm doing something else to relate to Ceocast. Everything is all, my life is, from the minute I wake up to the minute I sleep, is all Ceocast.
But that's why it's successful.
That's why it's successful,
Because-
yeah, 100%. But this is the thing I hate when people say, oh, Raheem, you're chilling, you got the most chill job ever. Because if they are working a 9 to 5, and there's nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5, but you can switch off at 5.
Yeah, you can't.
I don't switch off. It's YouTube. This is what I'm saying. YouTube is a business. Same with businesses. You do not switch off. You will never ever switch off from a business. An entrepreneur. I'm not saying entrepreneur because I don't want to
You
claim
don't
that.
class yourself.
Yeah, I don't class. But point is, you will never ever switch off.
Yeah, and the thing is, even down to Sunday. Sunday's people's chill day. Sunday for us is the most nerve-wracking day ever.
Oh my god, Sunday! I hate Sundays, bro. I honestly hate Sundays. You know, Sundays, the pressure on Sundays is unreal.
My whole week, and you relate to this well. Sunday is upload day. Monday is advertised. Tuesday is advertised. Wednesday is advertised.
Tell me about it.
In between that, I've got to film a podcast. I get it all edited. You do the editing, but then it's just constantly on repeat. Because if I'm not uploading a TikTok, I'm uploading an Instagram reel. If I'm not uploading an Instagram reel, the YouTube video is going live. If I'm not doing that, I'm changing something, and I'm on a smaller scale to you. I just follow the recipe you've given me. And all I can say is the recipe works because clearly
13K.
It's doing well. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and say 13K is amazing, but
no, it is, bro.
But for what it's done in that short span of time, if I didn't have your recipe, would the BlueTick show even be here? Probably not. That's the truth. Like, you made it so simple, and even sometimes where I'd be like, shit, I ain't got an episode. You just be like, Mikey, get an episode, or phone up this person, do this.
Yeah.
You make it a lot more simpler than, because you've done it, you've ticked that box, you've kind of completed it kind of thing. You know a recipe, that is a recipe. You can turn any podcast into a successful podcast because you're just repeating the recipe. But that's all I can say at the end of the day. It's just...
it's a hard game that people do not know.
It's not easy.
It's a very hard game. The only time I get to chill or just relax
and even
have
going
a
on
breather.
holiday, sorry to cut you off, even going on holiday, you got to remember, if Raheem wants to go on holiday for 1 month, you need 4 weeks episodes. So...
Right, I'm going to Saudi Arabia in 2 weeks' time. But then we've got Ramadan after. So I've got to film 10 episodes.
Yeah, you're finished. That's
do you know
it.
what I mean?
You're on the graph now.
Yeah.
You got to smash it out.
Like,
Otherwise,
if I'm not uploading, there's no money coming in.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To keep the money coming in. And even when I go on holiday, I will take my camera equipment and stuff with me.
Yeah, I know.
You know, even the last time I went to Dubai, I was like, cool, I'm going to go to Dubai and I'm just going to chill. I just want a holiday. I haven't been on a holiday, like a proper chilled, away from Ceocast holiday in time. I couldn't do it.
You filmed the most episodes that time you went.
Yeah, I filmed the most episodes, but I couldn't do it. So wherever I go now, I have to take my camera equipment because if there's an opportunity there that sometimes I can't afford to miss it.
Yeah, no,
if I'm in Dubai and let's just say I meet Mo Vlogs, which I did, if I hadn't had my camera equipment,
you're finished.
I've just missed that whole opportunity. I will never ever go somewhere without my camera equipment purely because I know that opportunities are anywhere. If I go to America without my camera equipment, do you know how much of a that would be? Because imagine I meet someone like Elon Musk on the street.
Elon Musk on the street, yeah?
Very unlikely. But I'm just giving you a hypothetical example, yeah? And he was like, I said to him about Ceocast, and he's like, yeah, get your camera equipment, let's do it. I'm like, oh, my camera equipment's in the UK.
So why do you talk about going to America? Is that plan of Ceocast?
Yeah, that's the next plan, 100%.
That's what you want to do, America, yeah?
Because I think I'm done with the UK, if I'm honest.
You completed it, yeah? That's it, completed.
I've reached out to every single person I could get hold of. So whenever someone, I see it in the comments all the time with people saying, you need to get this person, or you need to get that person, or whatever. I've done my part. I've done the emails, I've done the outreach, I've done everything I can possibly do. And the ball's in their court. And sometimes they don't want to play ball. Yeah. So I've done what I can.
And America is such a larger... And I think in America, YouTube's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
I think everyone out there is on YouTube. Yeah. Everyone out there...
The CPM in America is bigger as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, we need to go to America quick.
Yeah.
No, but everything in America it's a lot more... What's the word?
Content friendly.
Yeah, everywhere is. And I think I can imagine doing podcasts out there, everyone says yes to it. I can't imagine people saying no to it. I can imagine there's probably studios in their houses. They're just like, come round and film here.
So my plan is to go to New York. From New York, go to LA, go to Vegas, go to Miami, maybe go to Toronto. Obviously, I know it's Canada. Yeah. And then back to UK. But I'll spend 2 months out there.
But you'd have content for
I'd have content that'll last me the longest time ever. So yeah, that's the plan, going to America, because America is where I think that's the next step for Ceocast, to make it from 100k to 1 million.
And I think that, listen, it will happen.
Inshallah.
But like you are set, I don't want you to go for that long, because 2 months without Raheem's a problem. Hopefully I can come with you if we're at 100k by then.
Every single time I go to Dubai, let me tell people this, every single time I go to Dubai, wherever I'm going, I tell Mikey to come, and he just makes the biggest excuse ever.
No, listen.
I've got Melon to run.
No, one thing you... like that's not a good enough excuse, no. I've always said, until the BlueTick show can cover the cost of me going...
I've seen your revenue, big man. It can't cover the cost.
It can't cover shit. I don't want to go to a business trip and pay from my pocket. It don't make sense for me to pay a guest to come on. It doesn't make sense for me to go... But how does it make sense for you to do all of this?
Because when I'm going to, like, for example, to Dubai, and I'm doing 2-3 podcasts, and I'm there for a month, the podcast pay for the trip.
So let's just do them calculations, yeah? So, you're making good money off of them videos.
Okay, no, let's speak about this financially, with actual figures.
Okay.
All right, let's just say £2,000 ballpark figure. Taylor, put it right here. Yeah. And then you have your flights, which are £500-600 on
Okay.
the off season. Yeah, if you're going New Year's, forget about it.
Let's just say £1,000 for flights there and back.
Yeah, let's say grand for flights there and back, and we'll say £2,000, £3,000 trip basically.
Yep.
Yeah,
But then you need food. You need
Alright, food.
spending money.
Okay, all of that. Let's just say a 5-bag trip.
Okay.
Yeah,
£5,000.
£5,000 is your trip for a month to Dubai to do your
2 podcasts.
2 podcasts.
Yeah.
How many podcasts will you need to pay it off?
But it depends as well. As much
2
as
podcasts to pay it off, 3 podcasts give it profit.
Really?
Yeah.
But then podcasts are going to do to be fair, it depends on sponsors as well.
Well, that's with the
Yeah,
sponsors.
that's with sponsors. So
Yeah.
sponsors make a massive difference.
Yeah. So I've got a great relationship with the sponsors that I work with.
So just on that note of sponsors, if anyone does want to sponsor the BlueTick show, the email address is in the description. Email me there, and I'm looking for a sponsor for the show. Just so you know, I need to be going on them trips to Dubai with Raheem.
No, so I've got a great working relationship and friendship outside of work with the sponsors I work with. For example, Sunna Musk.
Yeah.
You know, as much as he sponsors Ceocast, we're also very good friends.
Yep.
Me and Abid, you know, and I've got huge respect for him and the success he's brought for his business.
Yeah.
Same with Fireway Pizza. Mario's. I had him on the podcast in the beginning, and I thought what a podcast that was. So I just messaged him randomly one time, and I was like, "Yo, like, you want to start sponsoring?" So I aim to work on a personal level with sponsors. I don't want to just take emails and be like, "There's this brand for this much money. Will you do it? Yes or no?" I don't like them.
You
ones.
want a bit more of a connection, a bit more of a friendly basis where it's, I've got a really good podcast coming up, bro.
Yeah.
Do you want to be involved?
I think
in
it's
this?
a lot better because then the audience know that as well.
And then it's long term as well.
Exactly.
It's not just guys paid you X amount. You're on
Yeah.
a show. Done.
Yeah.
See
Don't
you
get me
later.
wrong. If someone emails me the bag, I'm
gonna
taking
pay
that
it,
back.
of course. You're not stupid. At the end of the day, sponsorship without like YouTube money is X amount. Sponsorship is what pays the bills.
Yeah, so I remember I was doing the podcast with Super Saf, I believe. Yeah, he's a tech YouTuber. I don't know if you've seen him.
No.
Humble, great guy. Yeah, and he was just, we were having a conversation off camera, and he was like, you should aim for your income to be 90% sponsors and 10% YouTube money. Yeah, and I made that goal. I was like, cool. Now I want 90% because at the time it was 90% YouTube money and 10% sponsors.
Okay,
It's a nice complete reverse.
so that's better. Like
Uno
that,
reverso.
because then it's guaranteed as well.
It's guaranteed, and also, what's my point to this? It's more safety.
Guaranteed
essentially,
safety,
isn't it?
100%. Because if you know, no matter how many views that video gets, you're getting paid regardless. You can now take that trip to America because you're
facts.
guaranteed to make that. You're not thinking, okay, if I go and do this video, it only does 30k. I'm out of pocket.
Yeah,
So, look, people don't understand. YouTube isn't all fun, and there's a lot of emails that go into YouTube as well. Back work, the amount of Insta DMs I send. Wow. It's madness. It's madness. But on that, I've got one question for you. You've done 104 episodes. Probably by the time this comes out, 105, 106. Out of every single...
Don't ask me what my favorite guest is.
You just took the words out of my mouth. Stop interrupting me. Who has been your favorite guest? Obviously, I know I'm your favorite, but if you've got to remove me from it,
Favorite guest in what sense, man?
I don't want to know about views. I don't care about views.
Because look, every single person has a different story.
Yeah, but there must be one
So
guest
how can
where
I
you sat
prioritize
down
and prioritize
and...
someone's story?
So for me, for example,
That's like me having kids and then saying, "Yeah, you're my favorite."
no,
I probably will do that.
it's different. There is one podcast that you can always say, you
Do
know
you
what,
know what?
I
Podcast-
enjoyed the hospitality of that guy, or that person showed me a lot of love when I went there.
Tam Khan.
What makes Tam Khan so special?
You know what? Because the ease of that podcast, I remember whether it was Dubai's got a different vibe anyway. Dubai, everyone's chill, everyone's open and whatnot. UK is very closed off in that sense, yeah. But he very, what's the word?
The hospitality.
Hospitality was great. He started speaking to us, me and my cousin, like we'd known him for years. He showed so much love, so much respect. He allowed me to set up wherever we want, however long it took the podcast. He was down for it. Bear in mind, we'd done the podcast after his gym closes, which is I think is at like 11, 12 o'clock.
Oh wow, late podcast.
So we were there till like 1:30, I think, which is late for him because don't forget he's got a family, he's got a wife, he's got kids.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, he's got to keep up that energy.
Yeah.
Like we're filming now, and it's currently 5 o'clock in the evening, in the afternoon, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But your energy level starts to come down
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you've had a whole. And he's in the gym. When you've had
Yeah.
a whole long day, you got to have high energy in
Yeah.
the gym, and then you got to go and film a podcast.
Yeah.
The last thing on your head is I've got to sit down and actually talk about this to this geezer.
Yeah, and you know what it is as well. Like I said, some podcasts you do, it's hi, how you doing? Podcast out, never speak to each other again. Yeah, let's be real. But I still speak to him today. All my guests are still 90% of them still speak to today. But yeah, he showed love, man, proper serious love, and
That's
the
what-
ease of that podcast, there was no stress behind it.
But that's what makes that is people don't understand it, but at the end of the day, the number one reason we do podcasting, no matter what anyone says, and no matter what is, so because we're interested in people's story, and when you get someone who it just clicks, and it just sinks, it's smooth and it's nice.
Yeah, it's like the first one we ever done.
But that is what makes you remember to love what you're doing as well. When you have a good podcast and you know that was sick, man, wicked, you stand up and that gives you hype again. Like you said, the first one we ever done, I can't remember how you felt. Obviously, I don't know how you felt, but how was it after we finished up filming?
I thought it was amazing.
Oh, really? Genuinely?
Yeah, I thought it was wicked. I was like, I used to walk out podcast. Now I'm a bit immune to it. Yeah. I used to walk out podcast before thinking, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. I remember I've done that with yours, I've done that with Amari, I've done that with Lord Liam. I've done that with many guests. I was like, oh my God, this is so sick. Now I'm a bit immune to it because I've done so many.
But now I guarantee you can tell whether it's going to pop or not.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah?
Well, I'll say that, but the ones I thought pop, some of them I've popped.
So I've grown to 13,000 subscribers in 6 months. It took you way longer. And I understand mine was because I had your recipe and stuff. But do you think that there was other reasons to why it took you so hard to grow? Why it took you so hard to grow? Does that even make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. But I think you got to bear in mind my one's all about business and entrepreneurship. And in my opinion, I think 90% of the general public aren't really interested in business or entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it appeals to a very, very small niche. So the 100,000 I have got are all either aspiring entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs in their own rights anyway. Yeah. And I still think it'll still be, I reckon there will 100% be a point where I think you surpass me in subscribers and numbers. And I'll tell you the reason for that.
Go on.
Your one is sit down, have a conversation, chat, talk about life, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be general entrepreneurship or anything like that. It's just whatever it is. My one's entrepreneurship, and I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist and all that sort of stuff, but I just feel like the way the world's going and everything like that,
they don't want
the people higher up don't want entrepreneurs because they don't want people to break out the matrix. Essentially, they want people to be. Do you believe in the matrix? Yeah.
You really do, yeah? Do you believe in the matrix?
Yeah. Well, I believe in the matrix in a different sense, yeah.
And after meeting Andrew Tate, what do you reckon about that whole situation now?
Yeah, matrix.
He's the man that obviously brought the matrix to the public eye.
I don't think he's done anything wrong. Yeah, I think it's all 100% a matrix tax and all frame job and all that sort of stuff. There was even WhatsApp messages that got leaked recently, something like that. Do I believe in the matrix? Yeah, but I believe in a different sense of, if we can relate this to Islam a lot as well. There are people who are
higher up,
opposed to God. Essentially,
yeah.
You got God and you got the devil, then you got devil worshippers.
I can hear that. Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
100%.
And obviously, they're going to do whatever they can to
stop people breaking out the matrix.
Exactly, and they want to sway everyone from the idea of religion and from the idea of business and entrepreneurship and whatnot, and getting on that level. And that's why I think it'll be harder. It's going to be hard to roll this podcast 100%, purely because I don't think it's going to get the recognition and love that it deserves. Purely because the higher ups don't want it to get that recognition and love that it deserves.
Well, the one good thing about YouTube is you are in control.
Yes, to an extent.
Raheem, you're a successful businessman. Mm-hmm. You're a owner.
Well, am I?
Look, to people out there who are trying to be YouTubers, I believe you are. So
look, I don't want to sit here and call myself successful because I don't think I'm successful in my head. Yeah. The only reason why I'm doing this podcast
you're successful, but you're not where you want to be yet. That don't take away the success you've done already. So
okay, I agree with that. I agree with that, but I'm not my version of successful.
Okay, and why are you doing this podcast then?
Because I understand that people might look at Ceocast or myself for what I've built as an inspiration. So I want to provide for them, as much as I can.
Yeah, but in that aspect there, you having people who aspire to have a successful channel like yourselves, that is success in itself.
I agree with that.
That is, you can't knock that. If you're influencing the younger generations in a good way to have a successful podcast, to learn about business, what more successful do you want? Success isn't measured on wealth or subscriber count or anything, and you know that you're the first one to tell me that. But I think, look, me personally, I'm not going to sit here and lick your ass all day, but I think you're successful. That wasn't what I was asking you, so let me finish my question. What I want to ask you is, you're a successful man, you've got a very successful podcast, you do believe that the matrix is slowing down your growth. Being the successful businessman you are, What do you have in place to stop that?
Well, eventually, later on down the line, I'm going to make my own platform for sure, 100%.
So like you want your own YouTube platform, but podcast based.
Yeah. It's going to be like just CEO cast platform. It's not going to be like podcast, a platform where you host
It'll be like an
BlueTick
app
show.
CEO cast. You go on there, and
like
it's
that,
all your podcasts.
And it will be paid because unfortunately, I still got a life that I got to pay for, rent, bills, whatever the case may be. And it's still going to have outgoings as well, especially as we grow. I'm not going to be editing the podcast and everything forever. I'm going to have people, I'm going to get to Mikey's level where you can pay people at any time. Do you know what I mean? Because you got Mikey money.
No, it makes it different. No, for me, I don't have as much time as you do in the sense as I've got other things to do.
No, of course. But no, my point is, up until that point, I'm putting like a Discord chat together where it's going to be essentially, I'm going to bring back a community of entrepreneurs and whatnot in space and put them all into a chat, and that will be like the CEO. That will be the start of the CEO cast platform being put together, and that will be. You have your podcast that I'll release in there and whatnot. I'll have extra content that I'll release in there. Content that you never see, for example, behind the scenes, whatever it may be.
I think genuinely behind the scenes are better than the actual raw footage.
I'm going to have different things in there, which I don't want to speak too much on because I don't want to give away the whole plans and whatnot for anyone else listening and thinking, I don't like this Raheem geezer, I'm going to do the same thing. Do you know what I mean? But that's basically going to be the forefront of what I'm doing going forward in the future. And
just on that, you said you don't want people to copy what you've done. Do you get much jealousy in the YouTube industry? In the podcast
I think there's jealousy in every single industry.
But do you get to see it?
I don't pay attention to it.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I don't pay attention to it. And
the only thing I can say I've seen, and we've discussed it previously.
There's one thing you got to think about. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there. Interrupting guests. One thing you got to remember is what's written for you is written for you. I can't take that. No one else can take that. Same for me. What's written for me is written for me. No one else can take that from me. Yeah, it's what God provided for you and part of your plan and whatnot. So.
Why stress?
Why stress? Why are you going to look at someone else and be like, oh, BlueTick show's coming after me, or
But don't you get annoyed where you see? Because I do personally when you see people copying thumbnails, copying titles.
Yeah. Oh.
Because we've spoke about this beforehand, and we've sat down, we've looked at other things, and there's so many people who have copied my titles, your titles. We've seen.
Yeah, but then you can get pissed off for that, or you can look at it and be like, all right, cool.
Clearly, my title was good.
Clearly, the way I do stuff is good and it works.
Yeah,
so I say that to myself, like, all right, cool. This person's copied me, the title and the thumbnail. I remember one podcast, they copied word for word everything and the bloody everything. And I could either be pissed off for that and think, you absolute bellend, or I'll be like, all right, safe. You know what? My one clearly worked. My podcast is humbly bigger than yours. Mm-hmm. I see what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I respect it, but it's not going to work.
No. Listen,
and that's the way YouTube works. I'm going to say that as well. Your title and thumbnail for you
make a massive difference.
Yeah, but it's not the same for every single platform. For example, if you have a CEO cast title like on BlueTick show, it won't work.
No, of course, every single channel is different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Every single channel is different.
Your channel might not pop off shorts.
Exactly.
My channel might pop off shorts.
Exactly.
It's all different, but that's the one good thing about YouTube as well, is it's not like a copy and paste system.
Yeah.
It's not, okay.
Yeah. You have to be original with it. Yeah. You have to be original with it.
And thumbnails make a difference. Like me constantly, I'm messaging my thumbnail guy who makes my thumbnails. I'm like, bro, change it. Yeah, and I always send you the proof. I'm like, yo, is this cool? And you're like, no, add this.
Yeah.
But look, I
want to ask you a question.
Go on.
I'm not asking this to bloat my ego or promo my podcast service, whatever.
No, go on.
How much have you learned from me?
Everything. Honestly, truthfully, I've learned everything from even down to the way I angle my cameras. You taught me that. Even down to the tripod stand I have. You told me to buy that one. I've learned. The only thing I can say I've learned is how to speak, because you can't teach me that. You. The first podcast we ever done was with Ty Mitchell, and you remember that
you
day.
Were shitting
I was
bricks.
shitting myself. I'm a confident person. I don't care about being on camera. I don't care about how I look as a person. But when I've got to talk to someone else, you had to be in that podcast because I was so nervous of it. But genuinely, not even trying to talk about the new service you're going to provide, but you genuinely helped me with A to Z.
Appreciate that.
So I got a question for you. So you've had loads of guests on now. You've done all of that. There must be one guest you've dreamt of having on your show.
Dream guest? I'm a petrol head, so naturally I like cars.
Yeah.
I do want the owner of Koenigsegg because I think that'll be sick. The way the guy is engineer and CEO of his own company and whatnot, it's sick. Who else would I get? Maybe some tech guys, someone like Bill Gates or
that's my dream, man.
Jeff Bezos or all these guys. You know what I mean? Like they're top level CEOs. But at the same time, I don't know how well they'll do. I mean, they would do well. Don't get me wrong. But I think people follow people more so because they can relate.
Yeah.
And I think if you find someone, the way I grew Ceocast is by having people like yourself on who've got a community behind them. People know Melon, people know Mikey.
Yeah.
They want to see Mikey. And they're almost too corporate.
Yeah, and I think
sense.
when you've got someone that big, I think...
Look, I take each day as it comes, man.
Yeah, 100%. And each guest is a blessing. Each guest is a blessing. Even if it's someone you don't want, you do want, it's business. Sometimes you've got to do a guest you don't want. You don't, of course, you're your own boss, but you actually, if you've got a day where you're feeling tired and you've got to get up and do it, it's your job.
Yeah.
So, Raheem, earlier on, we touched on something. You told me to do with Charlie Sloth.
Okay.
You told me you had some corrupted files.
So this was back in March 2021, I think, maybe. What year are we in? 23?
23.
I don't know I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. But no, it was I can't even remember, if I'm honest.
Go on, whenever it was,
Whenever it was, yeah. I done a podcast with Charlie Sloth. That was a sick episode. I remember I had one of my mates there, I had Your Positive News there, and that was sick.
Yeah.
And I got home, and the audio files were corrupted. And I was like, you are taking the absolute piss. And bear in mind, I didn't organise that podcast with Charlie directly, so it's not like I could message him and say, yo, Charlie, look, can we refilm? It was done from PR, because obviously he wanted to do a PR run at the time. And I was trying to get hold of the PR and tell him, look, this is the situation. Can we refilm?
Just airing you.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I'm not saying anything bad about the PR team or, Charlie Sloth or anything like that, but it's business at the end of the day. They probably just moved on. And I was like, oh my God, this could have been, at the time, it would have been the biggest episode. And this was before Tate, so it would have been the biggest episode that I had done. And it was such a monumental moment.
Wow. But you know what? Look, like they said, everything happens for a reason. And maybe
I didn't get butthurt at all with the fact knowing that the files are corrupted. I was like, you know what, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It's just somehow a blessing in disguise. I just don't know about it yet, so I didn't get butthurt about it at all. And, generally looking back at it, I won't tell you the reasons why, but I mean, if you can think about the brands that Charlie would have promoted in that podcast and me being a Muslim, I think that's generally probably the reason.
Well, listen, at the end of the day, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
You never know. You might, in 5 years' time, do another episode with Charlie Sloth where he's 10 times bigger than he was now. And you never know. That's the truth. You do never, ever know. And all I can say is to even be sat at tables with Charlie Sloth, Andrew Tate, Mikey Melon, joking. But with all these...
But look, you're looking at it like this, yeah. This is the inspiration thing about this podcast, yeah. Like, can you believe I'm sat across the table from Mikey Melon right now?
Yeah, but... the only way I can say
joke aside, look, you're my brother, but look, you look at it like this, yeah. My whole plan with Ceocast was just to do these small business owners, whatnot, and different industries, so I know what business I want to go into. And now I'm sat across the table in front of billionaires, like actual billionaires with a B.
Yeah, 1 minute, can you just word that a different way? Because now people are going to think I'm a billionaire.
You are a billionaire.
No, bro, I ain't a billionaire. But no, one thing I will say is the fact you are sat across the table from me is mad, because I'm not saying that I'm someone special, but in the sense as 3 years ago, you interviewed me.
Yeah, we didn't know each other before.
We didn't know each other. We never knew anyone from no one. And now, 3 years down the line, I'm sat here with my own podcast interviewing you on 100,000 subscriber special.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look what has happened in 3 years. It's mad. And there's so much more that has happened behind closed doors in 3 years, which obviously is not the right podcast for it, but...
What else has happened in the 3 years?
Everything in life in general, like us as friends have grown. So much has changed.
I thought you were gonna start bringing up conversations that me and you have in private or whatnot.
No, I don't want to hot you up like that and make you feel, hot you up.
You want to give a little bit for the audience or no?
All I want to say is, if you ever need a trip to Wales, shout Raheem.
Cut that.
So look, the only thing I'll say to you, Raheem, is you're my brother.
This has been a long podcast, hasn't it?
It has been long.
How many? Do you think people are still watching right now?
I hope so. If you're still watching this right now, go comment, we're still watching.
Yeah, please.
Just so we actually know how many people actually watch it till the length of this.
No, I'm genuinely interested to know, like, how many people are actually going to watch me as a guest. Like, I wouldn't think that.
I reckon it will do really, really well.
I don't think so.
Listen, only one way to find out, like we said.
All right, let's have a
bet.
A halal bet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many figures do you think it'll do?
In what time span?
Week. We work on a weekly basis. Yeah.
I reckon in 1 week we'll get 25,000
No
views.
chance.
25,000 views.
All right, I'm saying 10,000.
Deal.
And I'll do my best to promote it and all that.
I'm
going to
do my best regardless. My TikTok, I'm going to push it on there like never pushed it before. But
I don't think you got any interest in TikTok clips.
Only reason why I think this will do really, really well is because your fan base have seen me, and my fan base know of you because obviously just through Ceocast. And I think
they're normal
that
brothers.
in itself,
Yeah.
and I think that in itself would be amazing. But reason why I do think it would do very well is because you're a smaller YouTuber. Yeah, you're not massive like KSI and them lot. Smaller YouTubers now can relate to you. If KSI releases a video on how he started YouTube and all of that, as much as it's an amazing story and all of that, people don't really relate to him because of how big he is. Whereas when you're...
Well, the thing is, you got to understand your age group as well. The people who are more interested to understand how they started in the first place, probably between 18 and above.
Yeah.
I don't know what his fan base is, but if they're younger than that, then they just want KSI for his entertainment, which is nothing wrong with that. But you just got to understand your audience basis, isn't it?
Listen, I think he's going to do amazing anyway. Either way, even if it gets one view, it's more than enough for us. Clearly not.
Look, as long as I can somehow, I don't know, encourage or inspire. I don't think I'm the inspirational type at all, if I'm honest. That's the half the reason why I don't want to come on the podcast. But if you feel inspired, do let me know. Or drop me a message on Instagram. Do you know what I do want? I want to know that feeling of, because whenever I do podcasts, always people get messages. The guest always gets messages saying,
You inspire
me, all that sort of stuff. Tons of them. I've never had that. So this will be interesting to know. I'm not saying do it off the back of me saying do it. I just want to know if like...
Guys, I've never asked any of the viewers for anything. I want you all to go and hit the like button on here just to show Raheem how many of you are actually... I know we're an hour in plus. I know there's not many of you probably still watching until now, but I want you all to go hit the like button to show Raheem how many of you are actually interested in this podcast, because I've been trying to tell him that people are going to watch it.
How many likes do you think we can get?
5K?
Nah, man. Let's aim higher than that, man.
10K?
Higher.
So you think it's going to get 10K views in a week?
Okay, if I could ask you, please, kindly, right now, I'm going to do this like a CEO cast.
Right, so I'm going to put this as an advert and put this at the start, yeah?
All right, if you enjoy this episode at any point, please make sure you drop a like. Let's try and hit 20,000 likes. Make sure you subscribe as well. Let's get this BlueTick show up to 50,000 subscribers by the end of this month.
What I want to ask you is, you being my brother, as much as I know you want to move to Dubai, I'm not sure I can allow you. We've had conversations off camera, and you keep telling me you want to move to Dubai.
I'm going 100%.
3 questions.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
When? Please don't leave me. Like, genuinely, why do you want to go, and when do you want to go?
Why do I want to go? Because the quality of life is so much better out in Dubai. So much better. Yeah. Everything. Name one thing about the UK.
It's shit.
Okay, no, but I mean like aspect of the UK.
You know what? Look, I agree with you. That's the problem. So I can't sit here and try back the UK.
Okay, look,
the UK weather,
the quality
shit,
of life, everything in Dubai is so much better. And you know that you've been to Dubai.
Yeah.
And I've been to Dubai, and I've stayed there for months at a time. Yeah.
I genuinely didn't think you was coming back last time. Honestly.
No, I wasn't really going to, if I'm honest with you. I was coming back to sell my car, and then I was like, yeah, you know, my family here and whatnot. Let me stay for a bit. Next time I go to Dubai, I'm gonna have my ID sorted, my house, everything like that, and then I'll bounce. Yeah, look, the aspects of Dubai are so much better. Like all the expats that are there.
All the what?
Expats. That's basically people who move from foreign countries to Dubai to work, whatever their case is. All of them there. Most of them are entrepreneurs, so everyone's on it. And you can ask to meet up with someone at 10 at night or 10 in the morning. People are on it. They just go. Yeah. Everyone's a go-getter out in Dubai. The weather's obviously so much better. The cars are better. Everything's better. Petrol's cheaper. Everything about it, all the food is halal. You ain't got to worry about going to a bar and flipping not having halal food, something like that.
No, listen, I understand. Dubai is...
And when I want to say September, October.
And that's you done.
I'll still come back and forth to the
don't
UK,
get
of
it
course.
Twisted. We'll be at a position where the BlueTick show is flying by then, so I'll be out there.
Don't get me wrong, I'm going to get a 3-bedroom apartment, so I'm going to have my bedroom, have my studio, and then have a spare room for you to come. Yeah. But
see that love right there.
From October to January, I'm going to trial it and stay there for like 3-4 months. I'm going to come back to UK for like a month, film any episodes that I need to film, and then...
The thing is, in Dubai, there's so many guests out there for you to do as well.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like I'm done with the UK now, man.
And then you've
like,
got Dubai.
Realistically, who is there? And people are going to say, there's people in the comments who are going to say,
this person,
that person. I've done as much as I can to...
You've reached out to,
I've done my part.
If they don't want to come on the show, what can you do?
I can't do anything. So the only best thing to do is
move.
Bounce.
Yeah.
Who haven't I done in the UK that doesn't want to come on?
Yeah, that's true. But at the end of the day, you got the rest of the world. You got America next. You've got...
Look at the size of the UK, yeah? Little
country.
Like that big. And America's 10, God knows, 100 times
Not
the
even
size
just America. You've got other countries. There's going to be a position where...
Someone invited me to Australia the other day.
I was literally just about to say, I hope that the BlueTick show, CEO cast, gets to a point where once a week it's, where do we need to go now? All right, yeah, jump on a plane, fly to Japan. No, not even private, relax, bro. But wherever we got to fly to, that would be what life is. You just got to fly there, film the episode, fly there, film the episode,
Yeah.
fly there, film the episode, and that is the goal. That's what mine is anyway. I suppose that's what the goal is for you as well.
Yeah, of course.
As much as you want to have base, could be Dubai, but you want to be flying around, filming here, filming there.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah. So let me read that right. Dubai is going to be my base. I'm still going to be all over the world.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
If you've got an episode here with, I don't know, someone's over here and you need to film, you're coming here. You know, it's only 9 hours.
Yeah, 100%. But Dubai is also don't forget it's the center of the world. People from America, well, in a sense of like people from America go there, people from Australia, everyone goes to Dubai because it's this international hub where everyone either wants to party or people going to live there, people going there for holidays. Everyone's always in and out of Dubai.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So Dubai is the place to go.
Dubai is amazing. And I think that covers what your 5-year plan is for Ceocast, I suppose, unless you've missed anything out.
No, I just ask you all to subscribe.
All I can say, as my brother, it was a pleasure having you on the BlueTick show. And it's
for having me.
amazing how things have changed in the last 2 years, 3 years for us. Went from sitting on your podcast to now you're sitting on my podcast celebrating 100,000 subscribers.
Alhamdulillah.
And next one, hopefully we hit 1 million. That's the goal. I want to interview you for your 1 million subscriber count. Not sure what the story will be different, but I'm sure the money's going to be different. No, and I'm sure we're going to be sitting in a different country and things will be different.
We'll be in DXB, mate.
Yeah, or somewhere in some country doing some podcast somewhere.
I don't know. Whatever you're doing, just chase your goals, chase your dreams. Don't let anyone stop you.
The only bit of advice I would ever give anyone, and this was my biggest downfall in life, was you got to stay dedicated.
Yeah.
Because I always used to start a business or start something up and just stop after a week.
Yeah.
I would have a plan. Oh, I want to do this. Open the website online. Stop after a week.
Yes.
Or when it doesn't make £1 million overnight, you're like, oh.
Yeah. Stay dedicated.
Just
be
stay dedicated, and I promise you, it will work.
100%.
It will work no matter what you're doing, even if it's fucking trying to be the fastest sprinter in the world. Keep practicing every day, and one day,
And eventually you'll beat Usain Bolt.
yeah, eventually.
I don't know
listen,
about you.
no,
You're a bit chubby for that one.
No, listen, Raheem, it was a pleasure having you on the show.
Mikey,
Thank
appreciate
you for
you.
coming on. And guys, like, comment, subscribe. Go and terrorize Raheem in the comments. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.